VMware Explore 2023, another great virtually speaking podcast interview is underway. We're talking about Data Service Manager. It's a new offering, and we've got the experts here to join us, John. Have you heard about it?
So this is, it's always fun because I like interviewing people with things, but this is something I've actually spent some time with. I helped work on build out the hands-on lab and have spent some time getting to know this product, and it's really fun. But I'm glad that we actually have some people smarter than me here to talk about it and the direction where we're going.
Absolutely. So we've got Michael Gandy joining. Michael, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
And certainly no stranger to the podcast and the VMware community is fellow Christos. Christos, welcome back.
Yeah, great to be here.
Christos, before we even dive into that, I know you were you were one of the founding fathers, if you will, of vSAN. For years, you helped design vSAN, which is obviously now extremely successful. And then you have recently moved on to other projects and other challenges. And so tell me a little bit about that. Like, what are you focusing on these days?
My career is all about storage and data, right? So I cannot escape from that, for better or worse. So I continue working with storage, but also some of our more recent ideas about data and data management.
Yeah.
And really the main concept there is that our customers want to store, manage, consume data on any cloud. This is part of the multi-cloud strategy of VMware, right?
Sure.
So the question is, how do we do that? How do we allow customers, and in particular application developers, to consume data in a self-service way, like the same approach you find on clouds, right?
Yeah.
Native ways. At the same time, how to enable the IT teams to manage data in a scalable way, right? And do that in a way that's not manual, does not require tickets, something that is, a 21st century, let's say, right?
Yeah. It's funny, I remember when you first started talking to us internally about this idea, and I was like, what is Christos up to? This is going to be interesting. And
He's spending too much time with those database, the DBaaS, it's what's going on, but...
Yeah, and it's nice to see it on full display now and lots of conversations. I want to talk a little bit about your session in a minute. But before we do, Michael, maybe you can help me understand at a high level sort of what exactly is this offering that we have.
Yes, so as Christos mentioned, we see a lot of problem at customers, right? How to manage all these new databases, the legacy ones, the new one, so Data Services Manager is really about giving the developers this agility, right? They don't want to file a ticket if they want just to scale the database, right? They want to have this control, this agility. At the same time, you want IT, and John mentioned, right? IT is like the infrastructure, but as well the DBaaS, to stay in control, right? They want to know which version of the database are using where. And you think it's easy, but actually it's pretty difficult to know, all the databases that everyone is using in your organization. So this really is the crux of this new offering.
Yeah.
Well, it's good making it easy to consume these database and services and surfacing things, because to a lot of VMware administrators or storage administrators, their visibility into that database historically has been, there's a virtual machine named SQL, I'm going to make some guesses about maybe what's in it, and that's kind of it. But
and nobody knows what the back-end storage is, but there's a database.
And then they start complaining about performance. It's like, well, what are you doing? Well, I need to make multiple 50, clones of 20 terabyte databases, or I'm standing up this, or I'm, or compliance comes in and says, hey, none of this is patched. And you're like, I don't know what's in that VM, don't ask me. Mm-hmm. So surfacing those capabilities up, making it easy to automate the life cycle of this, helping it expose that, and push it out to the developer, the access through UI or REST API. This is cool stuff.
Okay. And so when you say database as a service, where is this service actually sitting? Is it VMware Cloud on AWS?
That depends. So at this point, what we strive to do is offer the software tools to our customers, typically the IT teams, to provide a database service to their internal users, to the application developers, to the data owners, right? Now, they are going to provide SLAs, whether it's performance or availability or data protection guarantees, right? Down the road, we don't know, we may offer a managed service that we offer it as VMware through vSphere Plus potentially, but that is not something we are committing to at this point in time.
That makes sense.
We'll see. For now, we do some dog fooding internally, We have a very sizable managed database service, Postgres in particular, for several hundreds of our developers. We're talking about many hundreds of database instances and dozens provisioned daily for testing, for staging, production, you name it, right? So that experience may come handy if one day we decide to do something for external customers, but certainly already is extremely useful for developing the features of the software product we have, Data Services Manager.
Yeah. And I know that's something that you guys are talking about in your session today. What is the title of the session, by the way?
Cloud Data Infrastructure Strategy and Product Roadmap, I believe, something along those lines.
Portfolio, yes.
Link below on the video, and for those listening, by all means, get to the content catalog and just search for Christos. And by the way, you should do that anyway, because you know it's going to be a good session. But what are you guys talking about specifically? Are there certain use cases or any customer experiences or anything? Not customer, but any internal customer experiences?
A couple of interesting things. First of all, this Data Service Manager is a product that had already shipped last year. So in last year's Explore, we talked a little bit about the version 1 of the product. It was very early, had some rough corners. We got a lot of feedback from customers, and we've done a lot of work in the meanwhile. So this year I'm going to do a demo of some new features, especially features that customers asked repeatedly last year.
Those are the best kind.
I'm not going to say what, so come to the session.
So if you ever made a request, you might want to show up to the session.
This is also why, for those listening at home, you should come to Explore, so you can ask for features.
That's a great point.
If you can corner these people, it gets you an extra point in the roadmap. I think.
Absolutely. Whether that is through our customer advisory boards or one-on-one interactions with customers, or somebody shouting something from the audience in a session, we do take those things into consideration. We pay a lot of attention. That's important. So the other thing is, actually, I'm going to give a demo of our internal managed service we have in VMware, what I mentioned earlier, to show to our customers how we use that software ourselves to provide a managed service to hundreds of developers. And how can you consume as a developer the database either through a user interface on a dashboard or even programmatically through Kubernetes APIs. How can you integrate with your continuous integration and development pipelines, like some really cool stuff.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see because we're going to be here, but I will be downloading that one on demand. So that is good stuff. Christos, Michael, thank you for joining us this week, and best of luck with your session.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
Thank you.